All right, friends, I'm going to answer this comment pretty much what I just did already, but I'm going to answer it one more time. And I've talked about this before in my videos. So, this person here, what you need underscore G. You don't even have to think that much. You just need a novel stimulus once a week and protein. The novel stimulus, okay, let's look. I'll tell you what I wrote you, and I wrote it right here at the bottom. What did I write you about this stimulus? Okay, the stimulus could be anything as long as it triggers myofibular hypertrophy. With novelty could be super heavy, like light, as long as you change. No, man. I'll explain this, man. It doesn't matter even if you go heavy. Jesus Christ. You have to be, I think it's something you have to discover, all of you have to discover on your own. I think you have this idea about heavy weight builds muscles. Heavy weights do not build muscles. Weights do not build muscles, bro. Get it? Okay. So, and muscles are postmitotic. They do not build muscles. Muscles, in order to build these sarcomeres in parallel and series, they have to, that's the only thing you could build. They have to go through something called a injury, a micro injury, a repair, a growth, and a remodeling. That's like a broken bone if you want to get taller, okay? It's the same process. Similar process. A little bit different for muscle. So, how do muscles grow? Well, it's really simple. What did I write here? If you go with gravity, muscle builds in the eccentric. Yeah, because that's where it damages. If you go with gravity, right? If you move weight with gravity, that's where the muscle damages. That's where the growth happens. In the eccentric. And then what? And protein to build myofibular growth. Okay. So what does concentric do when you go against gravity? It shrinks muscles. It's associated with a loss in sarcomere in parallel. Or sorry, in series. So it's a loss in series, okay? So the only thing that you get there is an alignment in the concentric. When you're ass cheek squeezing, you get alignment. When you're going against gravity, like astronauts. Astronauts are not on planet Earth. There's no gravity. So what happens to their muscles? They shrink. They shrink because they're not, the contractile proteins are not necessary. There's no gravity. So what makes you strong? Gravity makes you strong. When you go with gravity, gravity makes you super fucking strong, like Superman. But you're thinking you're strong because you're going against gravity because it looks cool. It looks cool. It looks cool on paper, in the gym, on video, when you push a weight against gravity, because you're like, look how strong I can push weight against gravity in the opposite direction. And you could be right. It's not a bad thing. I mean, you are still grounded on the planet, pushing this weight. Your feet never leave the ground. Your feet are always on the ground. Even if you are bench pressing, you're laying down on the bench, but your feet are still touching the ground, right? You're on gravity, but you're pushing against gravity. So it appears, yes, it looks strong, definitely, pushing against gravity. But when you go with gravity, you're able to push more against gravity by increasing what? Contractile proteins. You understand me? Does this make any sense to anybody here? Fuck. Okay, so you're increasing motor units, force production, by lifting concentrically against gravity. But you are not building muscles. You're actually shrinking the sarcomeres in series because you're too focused on the concentric and you're less focused on the eccentric, where the contractile proteins build. So if you build more contractile, here's the thing. Again, if you're an astronaut in space, your muscles atrophy. You lose contractile proteins because there's no gravity. So when you are on planet Earth, your body will increase the contractile proteins to a specific level. You understand me? According to gravity. That's why people try to walk around with weighted vests, because they think if I sleep with it on, walk with it forever, then this gravity will increase the contractile proteins. I don't have to eat food. It'll just do it from whatever food I eat and automatically. You could be right there. I don't know. Fat people, your body has to adapt somehow to carry all that fat, 500 pounds of fat. You're going to have to build up contractile proteins and some bone mass. Otherwise, you probably break a bone carrying 500 pounds of fat, and it'll be extremely exhausting, and you won't be able to walk around carrying all that fat. Get it? So your body's going to have to adapt by increasing what? Gravity is going to weigh you down and contractile proteins grow. So when people say bulk diet, why are they bulking? Because they're trying to weigh gravity down so they can get the body to adapt by increasing these contractile proteins. Get it? It's a cheap way of doing it. That's all. It's a inferior way of building contractile proteins, and hoping that when they do diet down, that the contractile proteins that they built by weighing down with gravity will stay. You understand me? It adapted by staying there. Oh, I really doubt it, because most people, they lose it. It doesn't really. That's hypering and atrophying. I'll explain this. That is based on hypering and atrophying. That is not based on a repair, growth, and a remodeling. That's more permanent. You understand me? Than just increasing contractile proteins through these, what do you call them? Nuclei. They're going to synthesize proteins. Get it? They synthesize proteins, increase these nuclei. Let's just say, increasing them, whatever, and you're exceeding this protein breakdown. You're building up these contractile proteins. People on steroids, they build up contractile proteins, but they don't go through a damage, a repair, and a remodeling. A damage, a repair, and a remodeling. A damage, a repair, and a remodeling. They don't keep doing that over and over and over again. They lift adapted. They're increasing contractile proteins, and they're building up non-contractile proteins called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. The problem with that is now you have to slave yourself forever in a gym to maintain these contractile proteins, get it? Because they're constantly atrophying. And then the sarcoplasm is constantly atrophying. That's why all of you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to train. You don't know what you're doing. Get it? Like I said, if you're lifting concentrically against gravity and you're adapted. There's still eccentric in your exercise, but you are adapted to the eccentric, but you're adapting to the concentric by increasing motor units, and you're going to lose a sarcomere in series. They're going to shrink. Get it? You're going to lose muscle. You're going to get smaller. That's why a lot of people complain in the fucking gym that they're getting fucking smaller. Get it, dude? How come I'm not getting a bigger? I got a stronger, but I didn't get a bigger. And if anything, they got smaller. A lot of people complain because they shrunk their sarcomeres. Okay, dude? Now, eccentric exercise, people that do even, but people do these, you call it short range of motion. They're doing eccentric exercise. They're more focused on the downforce with gravity, like that guy Smarkov, whatever his name is. Smarkov, the guy with fucking Larry Wheels, the big fucker on steroids. You notice how he lifts his weights? He just lifts it so far up because he wants it to go down with gravity, down with gravity, down with gravity. He doesn't care about going up with gravity, up against gravity, against gravity, against gravity. He's not going like this against gravity. He's going down with gravity, down with gravity. He wants to cause micro damages so he can build some permanent contractile proteins and whatever else there. Get it, dude? I don't know. All right? You still have to be in positive nitrogen balance to build these contractile proteins. But here's the thing. If you're not damaging your muscles and you're coming into the gym and you want to build contractile proteins, when protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown, that's when you see these contractile proteins build up, okay? Regardless of what you're lifting, okay? It doesn't really matter. Whether it's concentric, eccentric, whatever, fuck, dude. It's always eccentric, it's always concentric. Some are shorter, some are longer, and some is full range of motion, okay, dude? Christ. Do you understand me? Do you understand, broski? Do you understand? I hope so, man. I don't know how many times I have to go through these videos and explain this shit, bro. I'm gonna get bonkers and lose my mind. I'm tired of talking about this shit. All right, I don't know, man, what else to say there. And my buddy there, he wrote me after I commented, he wrote here at the bottom, he says, thanks, T-Man. I asked the question because I'm trying to explain eccentric to people, but they keep asking this stupid question. Yeah, because they don't understand why are they going to the gym? Ask them, what are you going there for? What are you trying to accomplish in the gym? Ask them that question. They don't even fucking know what they're trying to accomplish. They just walk around and they go, oh, look, monkey see, monkey do. Guy lift a heavy weight, God lift a heavy weight with them. Hey, heavy weights do not build muscles, bro. Get it, man, Christ. But muscles are post-mitotic, and they don't build muscles. Eccentric, you could say builds muscles because it causes micro damages in the eccentric, not the concentric. The concentric going against gravity shrinks muscle, going with gravity lengthens muscle, makes it bigger and stronger. Okay, that's how it adapts. It adapts because of the damage that was caused to it. It causes it to get longer, parallel in series, get stronger, bigger, whatever. Only when protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown. Otherwise, it will just repair it and it will not grow bigger and stronger. See you in the next one, man. I hope that helped, dude. I gotta go. It's crazy.